All, today we will talk about Network Connectivity Center and we will see how we can use it and what options we have inside it. So basically Network Connectivity Center is an orchestration framework provided by Google Cloud and it simplifies our network and connectivity among spoke resources and that will be connected to a hub. So basically we create a hub inside that and with that hub we connect multiple spoke resources. So suppose this is your hub and with that we can connect spoke A, spoke B, and these spokes can be your VPC spoke, basically your virtual private cloud. So like in this it is a VPC spoke here, and it can be your producer VPC spoke. I will talk about later on in further lectures. Basically in this we are focusing on VPC spokes, and after that we have hybrid spokes. So hybrid can be your like cloud VPN, partner appliance, or something like interconnect. So with the help of network connectivity center, we can connect multiple VPCs network to one another, and that VPC network can be located across different projects in the same Google Cloud organization or different organization also. Suppose this can be a different organization, this can be a different, and we can connect both of these. And after that, also we can connect multiple VPC networks to our on-premise or other cloud provider like Azure or AWS, and these external networks can be reachable through any kind of hybrid spoke. So as I told you, hybrid means like if from interconnect, if or you can say cloud VPN, and this approach is called site to cloud connectivity. And we can even use router appliance VVMs to manage connectivity between our networks. We will see all this later on. So and even we can use a VPC network like as an enterprise WAN area network to connect network data outside of Google Cloud. So suppose you want to connect your multiple on premises together. So with the help of this Google Enterprise Wide Area Network, we can connect those also. And we can establish connectivity between external site by using any type of hybrid spoke, as I've told you, part interconnect or VPN. And this approach is known as site-to-site connectivity. So let's go and see what is basically a hub. So a hub in the network connectivity center is a global resource to which we attach our spokes, and a single hub can contain spokes from multiple regions. So suppose you have chosen a project and then in that project you will create a hub, and on that hub you can connect multiple VPCs. So VPC can be from same organization, different organization, or the same project or different projects. It depends upon you how you want to create a connectivity. We have to take care of one thing, like if any of the spokes of a hub uses the site-to-site data transfer feature. So that is a different term, like site-to-site data transfer feature. Basically, we can use this with this site-to-site connectivity. So that time the resources associated with the spoke must all be in the same VPC network. So just take care of this point. And spoke that don't use site-to-site data transfer can be associated with any VPC network in your project. So if you are using site-to-site data transfer feature, then all the resources associated with the spokes must be in the same VPC network. So basically, it is talking about like part-time interconnect or dedicated interconnect. If you are using, then it must be in the same VPC network. But if you are don't using anything like this site-to-site data transfer, so spokes can be associated with any VPC network in your project. Take care of these 2 points. I know it is kind of difficult to understand, but I will show once I show you demo, you will get a better picture of it. After that, a spoke represent one or more Google Cloud network resources that are connected to the hub. So in this, these are our resources like VPC network A, VPC network B. So that is connected to the hub. So as I told you, so we are talking about VPC spokes only in this video. So there are three kind of spokes, so, but we are focusing on VPC. In next videos, I will try to cover these two also. So basically, network connectivity and provides inter VPC connectivity at scale with the support of VPC spokes. So you can connect many like VPC networks from different projects or even from different organizations to communicate with the internal IP addresses. And VPC spokes also reduce the operational complexity of managing individual pairwise VPC network peering connections through the use of VPC spoke and centralized connectivity management model. So basically, we don't have to use VPC network pairing and we don't have to create so much of connections and manage it. So it's kind of a very complexity kind of task. So with the help of this, we can eliminate that thing. And VPC spoke can export and import all subnet routes from other VPC spokes on a network connectivity center hub. So in this VPC network A will all import the routes from VPC network B, and it will also export his own routes to the VPC network B. So basically hub will manage a route table according to both, like how they are exporting their routes, and the VPC networks can use that route table to send traffic to each other. And inter VPC traffic always stay within the Google network. It doesn't travel over the internet, and which help us to ensure privacy and security. And as I told you, VPC spokes can be in the same project organization on a different project or a organization. It all depends upon you how you want to use that network connectivity center with VPC spokes. And a VPC spoke can be connected to a one hub at a time. So you can't connect this VPC network, which is our VPC spoke, to multiple hubs. Only one time we can attach to a single hub only. So there is some comparison, like why to use VPC, like spokes instead of VPC pairing, as both are doing the same thing only. But if you don't want some much of complexity, like if you have many networks and you want to connect all the networks together so they can reach each other, so go with VPC spokes. But basically it is for large enterprises or medium enterprise. But if you have very simple setup like two or three VPCs and you don't want to use network connectivity center, you can basically use VPC network pairing. And these are some comparisons. You can read it out by pausing the video, and like which address it supports and all that. So I'm not going through this all the thing, but you can check it out. After that, there are two topologies which is provided by Network Connectivity Center for our VPC spoke. So one is mesh topology and another one is star topology. So when you create a hub, you have to choose which topology you want to use. So if you don't specify anything, it will default to mesh. So if you create via CLI, so it will default to mesh only. Once it's created, we cannot change the topology of a given hub. If you want to change, you have to recreate it. And to change that, I told you we have to delete the spoke and create a new spoke with the new hub. They have to use a different topology. So there is some difference between mesh and star. Let's see. In this video, I will cover mesh only. Otherwise, it will become a very long video. In the next video, I will cover star topology. So basically in the mesh topology, what will happen? It will provide high scale network connectivity between VPC spokes, and this topology lets all spokes connect and communicate with each other. So suppose I have a three VPC spokes here, and there's a central hub, NCC hub. So what will happen? All will export their routes to this NCC hub, and after that it will create like manage a route table, and that route table will be imported by each VPC to send traffic to each other. So in this a full mesh means each VPC can connect to each other. So that's the basically thing here. If they have 100 100 like 100 VPC spokes, so all can communicate with each other, and like the subnets will within these VPC spokes are fully reachable unless we specify some exclude export filters. Suppose you want that this specific subnet cannot reach by this VPC, like you want that that specific subnet is only being like reachable within this VPC. So we can create some export filters. We will see how to do that. And all spokes within the mesh topology belong to a single default group. There is only one group only. In the star topology, there are two groups we will talk about later on. And mesh topology is supported on VPC and hybrid spoke types. So as I've told you, there are one, and like VPC spokes and hybrid, these two only support mesh topology. After that, there are some limitations, as each thing has a limitations and we have to make sure what we are doing. So VPC network can connect with each other in an inclusive manner through the network connectivity center hub or through VPC network pairing. We have the both options, and VPC network that is connected together using NCC or VPC pairing in any combination are not transitive. So suppose you have a VPC that is connected with NCC also and VPC pairing also with some other network. So you cannot send traffic between them, between NCC and network pairing. It will not possible. It is not transitive. And static routes we cannot exchange with the VPC spokes. Overlapping subnets and overlapping subnet must be masked, like if by exclude export filters. So we cannot like share overlapping subnets, and IPv6 dynamic routes are not supported. and auto mode VPC networks are also not supported as VPC spokes. This is very limited limitations I have mentioned here. There is more limitations. You can check out the official documentation before doing anything. So basically we are going to create something like this and we will see how it is works, and let's go and see on the console how it looks like. So here am I in my console. So basically I have a my first project and I have one second project also. In this only one VPC network I have. So first of all, let me create a VPC network in my second project. Let it give a name, second project VPC1. We have to choose the custom, like automatic is not supported, and let's give a name subnet 1. And after that we have to choose a region. Let's choose Asia South 1, and we have to provide a range. So let's give it 21.0 at the second project, so we will remember also like it is start with 2. After that I will just click on done and use all the firewall rules, and I will just create it. My VPC network has been created. Now what I do, I will create a VM in this VPC network. So I have created a VM in that VPC, and this is my IP. I don't have an external IP. So if I copy this IP, and in my first project also I have a VM, and if I try to ping this VM IP from my first project, I can see I am not able to reach it. As of now, I don't have any connectivity between the two VMs, or sorry, two VPCs. So let's create a connectivity. So first of all, I will go to my first project and I will go to Network Connectivity Center. So here you will find two options, hub and spoke. So hub is kind of a logical thing. It doesn't you it doesn't mean like you have to create a VPC for hub. That is not required. Only you have to create a hub, and it's a kind of a logical thing. And for the spokes, we need a VPC. And so let's click on create hub. And I am not talking about any permission which is required for this. For permissions, you can check out the official documentation, where it will be a very big video. So I'm just basically focusing on this, all the things how to do this. And hub name, let's give test hub. And after that, we have two options, mesh or star. As I told you, we are covering mesh topology in this video. In next, I will cover star. So let's click on mesh topology. After that, we can add labels also if you want. I don't need as of now. And we can use private service connection propagation. I will cover this in later videos. It is itself a topic in this, and I will click on next step. After that, I have option to add a spoke. I can create as of now, and I can add it later on also. I will add a spoke later on. Let's first create a hub and see what other options we have. We have created our hub, and if we go inside our hub, there is some options which we can use here. So basically, if we click on edit hub, in this we can click on this edit option groups. So basically in this we can add project IDs which will be auto accept. Suppose you have 10 projects and you want that if anyone from that project try to create a spoke, it will don't need your approval to add in the hub. So like if you think that your network administrator from different projects, you like believe them that they are doing the right thing, then you can add their project ID here. So that will automatically be accepted in your VPC or this hub. And if you think that you want to check the configuration before accepting anything, so don't just add their project ID. It will wait for your approval. Once you approve that, then only they will be added. So like this we can do that. So let's go to spokes. We will click on add spokes. After that, we have the option to choose whether it is in this project or another project. If it is another project, you have to provide the ID and hub name. So for me, it is in the same project. I will choose my hub name. After that, I have to add the spoke. So in this video, we are talking about VPC network. So this is VPC spokes. This is producer spokes that is in preview. We will see this also. And after that, hybrid spokes are we have VPN tunnel, VLAN attachments, and router appliance. So basically, I will try to cover VPN tunnel attachment and appliance. That is kind of very difficult. After that, we have to provide a name. So let me give first project VPC1, and after that, I have to choose the VPC. This is my VPC. After that, there are some filters. So basically, if you don't want to include all the ranges, you want this only specific ranges you want to share with the different VPC, you can choose this option and give the export IP range. If you want all the private IP4 subnet, you can go with this. And if you want to exclude some export ranges, you want I don't want to share this range with the another VPC, you can provide the range here. We will see how to do that also, this thing. After that, if you're using IPv6 also, you can provide that also. And make sure what you're doing here, because once you have created this, you cannot edit it. Only IPv6 filters can be changed, but not with this. So if you want to change in the future, you have to delete and recreate it, and it can create an issue also for your resources in your project or in the VPC. So let's click on done. Now I will click on create. So as of now, this project is in auto accept list. So it will not ask for my approval, and it will automatically add this spoke into the hub. Spoke has been created. So if I click on see, I can see the active state and all that thing. And let's go inside our hub. And if I go inside our hub now, we can see all the spokes which has been attached to our this specific hub. We can see only one spoke is there, and if we click on routes, we can see all the routes being shared as of now with the route table. So hub like maintain a route table. So like I will let me try with anything, any region. So I can see it is sharing this 192.3.0 range, and the spoke is my first project, and we can see this. And if I go here also, you can see I have only one subnet as of now. And if I try to see whether I try to able to reach, I'm still not able to reach the other end because the other end spoke is still pending. So let's create it other end spoke also and see whether traffic will flow or not. So I'm in my second project, network connectivity center. In this we don't have to create any hub, we have to create only spokes. So let's click on add spokes, and we have to provide that project name. So I don't have any hub in this project, so we have to choose in another project ID that we can get from here. This is our like project ID, and after that we have to provide the hub name also. So this is our hub name, test hub, and we will click on next step. After that we have to give a name, so let's give it my second project, VPC1. After that we have to choose the VPC. This is my second project, VPC1, and these are the same filters. We will talk about it later how to use. Let's click on create. So it has been created, and if you see, it will showing inactive and pending review. So basically it means that someone from the hub team, that the admin one, he has to check and approve it. And if we go back to our hub and we will click on this spoke once again, we will we will see some spokes are pending for our thing. Let's come back and let's click on here spokes, and we can see there is one active and pending review, and there is go to details option is there. We can click on go to details, and we can see the filters and all that. And if you want to accept, you can accept. If you don't want to accept, you can reject and provide the rejection details, like why want you reject, or like something like any overlapping is there between the subnets. You can do that. If you don't have any issue, you can just click on accept, and this will activate our the spoke. It will take some time, like about 3-4 minutes, so let's wait. You can see it has been accepted by our hub, so it means it has no issues with that, all the configuration are fine. And if we now click on our routes, and we can see there will be two routes now in that table. We can see there 21.0 and 3.0. So now both the routes are available. So basically it is maintaining a route table. So if we go back to our VM and try to ping this IP again, we can see we are getting a successful response. So connectivity is now maintained between both the VPCs. And also make sure you have firewall rules enabled. It will not bypass the firewall rules at the VM level. So firewall rule must be allowed the traffic coming from other VPC. So for me, I have chosen that default firewall rules which allow ICMP allowed. That's why it is pinging. And if we go to our first project, VPC, and click on routes, So, and let's click on refresh. So basically, that network connectivity center routes will be there with NCC subnet routes. So this is the subnet routes. So basically, if there is any destination 192.168 like this, so next stop will be our hub, and same will be here also. If we go inside our this project, and we can click on routes, you can choose any region and click on view. So you will find 3.0 also. So like this you will find this specific routes, and by mistake or maybe in future someone try to add a subnet with the same range which has been being shared from another VPC. Suppose in this VPC I have this subnet 3.0. So if I try to create this specific range in this subnet in this VPC, sorry, if I click on add subnet, let's give any name sub2, and let's choose any region, and let's give this range 3.0, and let's click on add. So it will give a like a error like this is not allowed because it is kind of overlap and it is being used by NCC. So we can see we got an error. If we click on this, we can see operation type field new subnetwork IP range 3.0 OLS with an active peer network. That is our VPC1 first project. And also there is no network pairing between both of these. So you don't think that at the backend it is creating a network pairing. That is not the scenario. Basically, this is the hub and spoke model. That's why we are able to connect. Like this, we can connect many VPCs, like how many you want, and all the connectivity will be flow. Also, it is not free. So basically, you have to pay for every VPC spoke per hour. So that is not too much if you are a very big organization, and it will help you also to maintain your connectivity, as kind of VPC pairing is that not much feasible to you. So you have to pay also for this. And hub is free. You can create a hub, and it will you don't have to pay anything. But for the VPC spokes, there is a cost, and you can check out that cost in the documentation also before try to use this. So let's do some more demo in this. So let's create one more VPC network. In this VPC network, I will create two subnets. Project VPC2, and we will add two subnets here. So this is my new VPC, and I have two subnets 4.0 and 5.0. So suppose there is a requirement that you only want to share this subnet and you don't want that anyone can access this subnet from other VPC. So we can use exclude filters for that. So let's go to connectivity center one again, and let's click on a spoke, and we will add a new spoke here. And this is the same project. I will choose the same hub, and in the next step I will choose my VPC network. Let's give a name first project VPC2, and this is my first project VPC2. In the filters I will exclude one range, and that is the range I don't want to share with anyone because it is kind of some critical resources are running on this. So I want to make sure that no one can reach to this. So I will click on this exclude one, and I will click on done and click on create. As I have already told you, I am in that this project is already allowed to add spokes without permissions, so it will automatically be added into the hub. So it has been added. Let's go inside our hub and let's see our spokes. And these are our three spokes. And if I go to my latest spoke, this is first project VPC2. And if I click on it, I can see I have excluded this specific range 5.0. And if you come back and if you go to route table, let's see what whether this specific route reflect in route table or not. If I choose any region, let's go with US Central one. So we can see only three routes are there: 4.0, 3.0, and 21.0. 5.0 is not being like advertised in our route table. And same if you go any in this our project also. And if you go our inside our VPCs, and if you click on routes, you will see that that specific route will not be there. Only 4.0 will be there. Let's click on view, and so we can see 3.0, 4.0, 21.0, but that specific 5.0 network has been not advertised. So with the help of exclude filters, you can choose like which subnet you want to share and which subnet you don't want to share. So this one example I want to show you, and let's do one more thing. Let's add overlapping networks also. So we will see how what the issue with the overlapping. So suppose this VPC has 4.0 and another VPC also have a 4.0, and if we try to connect that VPC into our hub, it will throw error. So let's do that. So let me create a new VPC first of all, and I will add two networks. Let's wait. So I have created a new VPC, second project VPC2. If I go into subnets, I have a subnet 4.0 and 6.0, and this subnet will clash with this subnet. So let's go to network connectivity center in my second project, and let me click on add spokes, and it is in another project, and let's copy the project ID from here. This is a project ID. Its name is test hub. Let me check it. Yeah, test hub is that name. Let's click on next and give it a name. So I will give the same name here. Basically, VPC network. Second project VPC2. In VPC network, I will choose my second project VPC2. Click on done. I will not using any filters and all that, and I will just click on create. So basically, it will create a spoke because spoke doesn't know anything. It is a kind of thing and which we are creating. But as we try to attach with the hub, it will create a issue because that same network is coming from two VPCs. So what will happen? It cannot add that spoke into our hub because it will create a issue, and like Google will not able to understand to which network we want to send our traffic, like VPC this and this VPC or that VPC. And we can see, go to details, it is showing us, and let's click on accept. Suppose, so that's why it is very important, don't put auto accept thing because someone can make a wrong configuration and it will create a issue. So with the hub administrator, he can check all the configuration before accepting also. As of now, I am showing you because as a test only what will happen. It will not break anything, but it will also give error only. So we can see it is giving a very big error. Let's click on this and let's see. It is telling us like second project VPC2, this specific range 4.0, it overlaps with this range which is coming from VPC1. So it will not accept this. So now we have two options. If you want to accept, like if you want to forward this, whether uh, we can exclude this subnets from the both the sides. So from this VPC also and from this VPC also. So basically what we'll do, we can create a spoke at both sides and we will exclude this subnet from this and that VPC so that this range never will be shared with any of these and like any of these VPCs. So now we have an option like whether to reject it, or we can basically reject it, or someone from this only here only come and delete this, and if he come and delete this, and he can later on create a new spoke also once the configuration is fixed, because I already told you once we create a spoke we cannot edit it, so we don't have any option, only we can give a description only. So we cannot do anything in this. Now it has been like permanent, you can delete it only. So let's click on delete. So now it has been deleted. Now like you want to basically connect this VPC spoke to your hub. Now as we know, we cannot do until we do something for this subnet because it is being overlapped. So one option is that we have to exclude this subnet from both the sides, from the here also and then from here. And until we do that, it will not work. And if you think that what if we try to exclude it at one side, that will also not work, because what will happen if we try to exclude this, suppose we have excluded this from here, so basically it will not be advertised to the hub. But what will happen when your this subnet will try to reach 4.0, it has two options, whether, and it will get confused whether it want to go to this subnet or other another subnet which is in other VPC. That's why it will get two routes. So it cannot send a traffic, and it cannot decide to which VPC or which subnet we want to send the traffic. And if you want, I can show you also. If I try to add spoke once again, and if I try to exclude this, it will not work. So in my second project, let me give the project ID and provide a test hub name, and let me copy this, and VPC is my second in the filter. And if I click on exclude range, and if I choose this 4.0, and let me go here and provide it, and let's click on done and create it. Even we are excluding it, but it will still not work. Spoke has been done, and let's go back, and this is our, let me refresh this page. I don't know it is latest or old one. And if you delete the spoke from one side, it will automatically, it will be removed from here also, from your hub, because that's why it is old one is not showing. And let's click on go to details, and let's click on, see, now we are excluding this subnet range 4.0. Now let's click on accept. So basically it will not work, it will fail, because our second project will get very confused, because we are excluding this 4.0 from here. So what will happen, if this spoke will add into our hub, there will be two routes for 4.2, one for this project and one for this project. One will be like our primary route for the subnet route for 4.0, and one will be NCC route for 4.0, which is in this project. So if you try to send traffic to 4.0, you will not able to understand like which subnet we are trying to reach. It will create a issue. That's why it will never accept that configuration. So we can see it is still giving the same error, like it is kind of overlap. We can see overlaps with that and that. So now we have only one options. So what is that option? We have to like delete the spoke from both the side. Let's do that. So in my spokes, I will first of all delete my this project, first project VPC2. So I will click on this and I will delete the spoke from here. And once it will be deleted, we have to wait a little bit. And here I will not delete, because it is this spoke I need and it is totally fine. Because that I don't want to share 4.0, but it will work when I create the same configuration for this project also. So it will be deleted. Let's then we see what we have to do. So that has been deleted. Now let's go to our details, and if we now click to this accept button, it will accept this, because we have removed this specific spoke, or we can say VPC network, from our hub. So now it will accept this configuration. We can see it has been accepted, and now let's do the same thing. Let's click on add spokes, and it is in my first project only, so I have to just choose the VPC network. So let's see, use the same name, first project VPC2, and let's go to VPC network. This is the VPC network. In the filters, now I have to exclude the same range which I excluded there. That is this specific range I have to exclude here also, then only it will work. And let's click on done. So now basically what will happen, both the projects are not advertising 4.0 to the hub. So as because of that, our configuration is valid. So let it be done. And what if you want to connect between 4.0 and 4.0, like between both the projects, what are the options we have? So where that private net will come. So basically with the help of private net we can do that, but it is a separate topic itself, so I will cover private net later on. So we can see all are active. We go to routes, and let's choose any region and click on, if we view, we can see we have all the route 3, 5, 6, but 4 is not there. So we can see 6 is from this, and 4, 5 is from here, but no other network we have, like 4.0, which is the overlapping, because we have excluded at the both sides. So you have to take care of this, read documentation to get a better understanding what I'm trying to say. Maybe it will be little confusing as of now, but you have to make sure all the things. And one more thing I want to show you. For that also need a new VPC. Like it is getting a long video. So let me create a new VPC and I will show you that also. I have created a new VPC. This is my kind of final phase of the video. In this I have a range like 172.16.0.0.16, and suppose you want to share this VPC range to a to your like hub, but you want that specific some part of this range cannot be shared, like 172.16.21.0/24. That is not possible. If you try to do that, it will just throw you error. So let's do that also. Let click on add spokes, and this is our same hub, and let's click on next step. Let's provide it a name, first project VPC3, and with this is our VPC network. And the filters, if I try to like, I will choose include this specific thing, include export all this like primary range one, and after that I click on exclude and I will just provide a range like 172.16.21.0/24. So I'm just taking out a small range from that, and just click on done, and we'll try to create a spoke. It will throw error, like we cannot do that. So we can see it is giving error. Let's click on that and let's see what it is talking about. The request was invalid. Exclude range is a subset of existing subnet 1. So that is not possible at all to remove the small part from a subnet. So if you try to do that, you will get an error. And that's all. And I will one more thing, like if you have a suppose a VPC, and in that VPC you have multiple subnets of the same range. Like suppose I have a range of 10.100.1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and I want to exclude one range and two range only, and I want that all other range will be allowed. So for that I can create a spoke according to that, and I will show you just a second what I'm trying to say. So what I can do, I can create a VPC network. Let's choose anything as of now, and inside it I can specify private IP v4 subnet range. So I can say that 10.100.0.0/16, something like that. I want to include this IP range. Suppose, okay. Instead of all private subnet IP range, I want to include this range. So if I have any subnet coming inside this range, that will be allowed. I don't have to choose this one always like default one. I can choose this one also, and after that I can click on exclude, and I can provide some subnet IP ranges which I don't want to pass to, or don't want to export. 10.100.100.0/24, and one more range I want to give 10.100.200/0/24, like this. So basically I want let any IP range from this, like I have like thousands of subnets of 200 subnets, all if it's come under this range it will be allowed, but I don't want to allow these two subnets, so I can do that also. So in this, like in future you can create more subnet inside this range, that will work, or you can basically create this also default one. So we have both options how you want to go, and IPv4 you can also do that. That's all I want to show you. So I think it will be clear to you, and after just testing just delete all these things because it will cost you. Let me show you how it will cost. So if I go inside, this is that current pricing. So for hub there is no charge, and for the spokes or we have to pay like 0.10 per hour, and for the spoke which are like hybrid one there is less amount, but for this VPC spokes there is very high amount, because if you create so much of spokes and all that it will create a bill for you. But for that big organization that will okay, because they are getting so much of features also, and after that we have data transfer rate also. You can check out this documentation if you ever try to use this VPC spoke. So basically we have seen all the examples, and this video we have only worked on or seen basically mesh topology, but in the next part we will see star topology, which is totally different, and in that traffic flow something differently. So we will see that also in the next part. So if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, just comment it down. I will try to help you. I will drop my email ID also if you want to connect or want to discuss something. Just drop a mail. I will happy to help you. Thank you.